Welcome everyone. We are Quadre. My name's Daniel. I have Adam right here on my left, and next to him is Amy Jo and Lydia. We're going to be inviting our special guest in just a moment. What you just heard was Blessing and Honor from the Messiah, and it was a fantastic arrangement done by Lowell Shaw, and Lowell Shaw is just known throughout the horn community for writing incredible arrangements for our instrument. We'll tell you a lot more about our instrument over the course of this show. But without further ado, I want to introduce our special guest, Sadie Glass, who's going to tell you a little bit more about her rather unique instrument in the next work that we play, which is by Mozart's Concerto No. 1.
Hi everybody. So, as you can see, I'm holding a unique horn. I'm missing a little bit of equipment that you might see in the horns behind me, some tubing. So this is a natural horn. It is the great-grandfather to our modern horns, and it was used during the late early 1800s. This is a replica made from the early 1800s, and you also might think that these are the instruments you see around Christmas time, so it's very fitting you might see them on the Christmas trees around your own house. You might be wondering, how do I make sound on this instrument without any valves? I'm missing a lot of tubing. So the way I do that is by utilizing our harmonic series, which the definition of that you could look up on Google is just the natural notes found in nature, kind of ambiguous. So these notes. Now in the Baroque era, earlier than Mozart, right, they would have only used those notes, but they discovered that by putting our hand in the bell and making slight adjustments, we can become a fully chromatic instrument. So I'm going to point my bell so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So now we can play pretty much any note that we can on our modern horn. Now composers during the classical era, like Mozart, loved the timbre of this horn and actually used the different qualities we can get to their advantage. To your modern audience ears, some of these notes might sound a little funky, but just keep in mind that this is what this piece was meant to sound like. This is the horn it was written for, and I hope you enjoy hearing Mozart's first horn concerto on the natural horn. So 1 second as I just move over a little. water with this horn too.
So Sadie, most concertos have 3 movements. Is this going to have 3 movements as well?
Not today, just 2 movements for this one. It's the shortest of all the Mozart concertos, so just 2 for you tonight. In Baroque concertos, we often didn't play on 3 movements either. Even our own concertos, we didn't play in the 2nd movement because we couldn't play in minor keys. So, yeah.
we're curious if there are any questions that you might have for Sadie. Maybe there's some that have gone into the chat at this point. This is a pretty unusual instrument, so.
We had Flora said earlier she loves the idea of pairing the modern horns and the natural horns. Mm-hmm. And we got some Go Professor Unsworths. To see you perform again. Let's see, there was love seeing all the smiles and applause in the Zoom windows. There was lots of.
That was me.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely unique performing with modern horns compared to like instruments like string instruments playing with gut strings, which are actually made out of animal intestines, and woodwinds playing without very many keys at all. So definitely had to make some adjustments with that, but it was a lot of fun playing with modern horns. So if you have more questions though, feel free to think of them and write them in the chat for at the end too, and I can always go grab this horn again if someone has a specific question. So great, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
So Sadie will be back soon. The other voice you heard that just sounded deep and resonant and gorgeous is our fantastic streaming engineer, Christopher Grant. So give it up for him. He's on this end making everything look brilliant. So thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. We're going to do some quartets for you now. We're going to start with an arrangement of mine that is, the ink is so wet, and I don't think it's even dry at this point. I just wrote this, and this is going to be its premiere. It's a tune that you all know, Deck the Halls, but kind of in an arrangement that's rather manic. So you'll hear a little bit of everything in this one. So enjoy. And in case you're wondering why we're switching seats, it's so that we can kind of stay in the right formation of like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was in the 4th chair a moment ago, now I'm sitting in the 3rd.
It wasn't a malfunction. Yeah.
And these tunes, along with everything you're going to hear later, is all going to be on our Horns for the Holidays concert tomorrow at the Mountain View Center for the Performing Arts. So if you are in the Bay Area and would like to catch that live show, there are still tickets available. You just have to go to MVCPA. That's M as in Mary, VCPA.com. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. It's so much fun to actually play Deck the Halls at this time of the year, and a ton of fun to write an arrangement around a work like that. So, which is very simple. It's like, well, if you take a simple tune, how complex can you make it? So we're going to move on to another arrangement that we asked our colleague out on the East Coast to write for us a number of years back. This is found actually on our Horns for the Holidays album. Yes, you too can get one of those little CD discs that I know many of you have just seen those in museums, but it's still possible to get them. You can go to our website and you can find out how you can get one of those albums, but limited edition, I must say. But in any event, on that album, 17 wonderful tunes from the holidays, and one of them is called The Christmas Song, and this is by Mark Adam Watkins. And Mark Adam Watkins has written a lot of repertoire for us over the years. And if you're familiar with our albums, you'll know his name. And this tune was coined by the famous Mel Torme years ago. And this is Mark Adam Watkins' spin on it. We're going to be doing an effect in this particular tune, which is kind of cool. It's called stopped horn, and that's where we put our hand in the bell. Oh, we have a question.
Yeah, a question from Leander Star. Cool arrangement. Is the sheet music available for sale?
Well, Leander, not yet. But now that you've requested it, I'll make sure I get it out there.
Hi, Leander. Hi, Leander.
Do you want to take another question?
Sure.
Although I think this was for Sadie too. There was also a question in the chat about how do you balance the quiet natural horn with the modern horn. So that may be a question.
Sadie's only a few feet away.
Oh!
Let's bring her back in.
Hi, everybody. So how do I balance modern horn with natural horn? So one of the things I did for this concert was I've got a lot of mouthpieces for my natural horn, so I chose one that was a little brighter than I would normally play, like I mentioned, if I was playing with other period instruments. And just simple things like playing out, playing with different positioning. I kind of turned a little more towards you, or towards the microphone here, also just to kind of help balance that out. But, you know, it's still a brass instrument. We're missing a lot of valves, sure, but I can still project when I want on the natural horn. So it wasn't that big of a challenge, I feel like, to play with 4 horns instead of a string orchestra. So, yeah.
We also
Yeah.
modified how we would typically play to
Yes.
also balance you.
Yes, of course.
We got in touch with our inner string player. I tried to be a cellist.
Thank you,
Any other
Sadie.
questions at this point?
There aren't any other ones in the chat right now, but we'll keep them coming.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll have a Q&A at the end, so.
Okay. Christmas song.
And look out, Lydia on the end will be doing the lead part throughout this tune. back to Lowell Shaw. We're going to do a favorite, very popular favorite here, Jingle Bells for you. And
I get to stay here?
you get to stay. I get to stay here too. I don't have to move. He coined this arrangement back in 1993, 5 years before we got started. Yeah, believe it or not, Quadre is in our 23rd year this year, which is super exciting. What's 25? That's like some medal or
Silver.
Silver. So
Yeah.
coming up on our silver anniversary.
Yeah.
We have a question from Aaron. As a beginning French horn player, do you have any tips for playing high notes and practicing in general? Thank you.
You want to take it away, Adam? The professor?
Yeah.
Well, the best tip is to not use too much mouthpiece pressure and keep the air intensity going, really. But most young kids try to play too high a little too soon. So if it's strained and it doesn't feel right, don't go up there. That's the best thing I can say. Find pieces, there's some great music that doesn't take you up above the staff. And work on playing musically with a beautiful sound in that register. And you'll get strength over time. But don't try to go too high too soon.
Excellent advice.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I know.
Too late for you.
I completely changed my approach now.
All right, Jingle Bells? Jingle Bells.
Featuring Adam on the high horn. So, Aaron, listen to Adam here. How he's approaching this. guest artist, Sadie Glass, and she's going to be doing a couple more tunes with us. Ding Dong Merrily on High and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, which Adam will tell you a little bit more about in a minute.
We have a question from Nate.
Let's hear it.
Why aren't you tapping your feet, as most of us in the audience were doing. Is it bad to tap your feet?
That was a question from Nate.
For me, yeah.
Well, when we're younger, our teachers all tell us not to tap our toes. I know for that type of tune, of course we want to tap our toes and move around and dance while we're playing, but it's generally distracting when you play classical music to tap your toes. So
We're dancing on the inside.
It wouldn't be Zoom if it wasn't if that didn't happen at least once. So
Absolutely. That's how you know it's live.
exactly, this is real. This arrangement, Ding Dong Merrily on High, was done by Alan Civil, the same famous British horn player.
Some of you are holding the horn off the knee and not others.
I think I'm the only guilty one.
actually, for that tune, I did put my bell on my knee. It's just a personal preference, but when I'm playing when I play the low part, sometimes it just gives me a little bit more stability. Personally, not everybody does that, but it gives me a little bit more stability to keep my. Not only that, the music stand was low and I couldn't see my music. I held my horn up.
And for me, it's just, have I been playing like that for most of my life? I did for about 2 or 3 years professionally play off the leg, and I was trying to have a few back issues and whatnot, so I decided going back, and then I didn't. But every time I'm playing kind of a lead part, I do take it off my leg, so it projects a little bit more. Next tune we're going to do is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Adam's going to tell you a little bit about it.
All right, should we change position?
Yeah.
So this is just another brand new arrangement.
Am I here? Oh, I'm here.
Daniel asked me to write this arrangement for tonight and tomorrow night for the Christmas show. I really enjoy listening to jazz music and jazz renditions of Christmas carols, so I thought of doing a ballady kind of arrangement, but one that's a little bit melancholy, since I think we're all feeling maybe a little melancholy these days. Not overly merry, but there's a few moments. Try to get a little merry in there sometimes.
Absolutely.
But it's fun to get to write for 5 horns and really explore the whole range of the horn, from the very lowest notes we can play to some of the highest notes we can play, and to be able to set a really memorable and familiar tune. So I hope you enjoy it.
Sorry.
funny little tidbit. We played this yesterday. We were rehearsing it. And then Adam said, you know what? I really think it will sound better a half step lower. And so we then, as horn players, it's pretty easy for us to transpose. So we transposed the music down a half step. And then he gave us new copies today. So we're now playing the piece a half step lower for you.
We played it in all 12 keys and then
Yeah, right.
landed on this one.
to apologize to my colleagues every time we play that because of all the high notes. Thank you.
We have a question from Allison Birch. She asks, what are the pedals on the ground floor?
Excellent question, Allison. piece of paper music, the one we just did. But other than that, we use our iPads to read our music. Oops, sorry. So we can get to all the music on our iPads. So when there's quick page turns, and generally you just touch it to turn the page, but sometimes we keep our right foot, we need both hands to hold our horn. So the paddles are to turn the pages. That's the long answer to the short question.
Great question. We got one more tune we're going to play for you, and then we'll do a little more Q&A. This is one last arrangement that I did up on the housetop for quartet.
And Allison, I'm sure Elijah will be asking for this equipment probably in just a few minutes. Elijah was one of my trombone students. I know you're asking trombone. You don't play the trombone.
And this arrangement I've actually redone for brass quintet and woodwind quintet as well. So, by request, people have heard this and they're like, "Oh, it's so much fun! I'd like to do it with my instrumentation." So that's one thing you can do is you can write a piece, and I encourage any of you, especially some of our the younger folks that are watching today, that you've always wanted to kind of write a piece of music. Well, one of the best ways to get started is to do an arrangement. Start with a piece that's already written and to try to do your own little take on it. So.
That's one of the advantages we have in our group, is that we have two composers who also do great arrangements. So it gives us a lot more repertoire choices and that really suit our strengths.
LIDs, LED, ABJ. I think
Nice.
There's some very specific.
Someone's played this arrangement before. Yeah, that one's a ton of fun. Ton of fun to play.
Mhm.
It's a workout too.
Everything's a workout for horn
That's
quartet.
true.
Because you're 25% of the ensemble at every moment.
Every moment, exactly. You don't get those long rests.
That's right. Yeah. Any other questions?
Nate wants to know if Adam's jet lagged.
Are you jet lagged, Adam?
Oh yeah, that's all right. This is energizing enough. It wakes you up as soon as it starts. Like, oh, okay.
Well, that kind of leads me into something I wanted to ask. Where you're all from? Can you, for those of us who don't know you as well, can you tell us each a little bit, introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what brought you to this beautiful instrument?
Well, I'll say this much. So Quadre, we started off as an ensemble that was all based in the Bay Area, and then some of our players moved on, and when that happened, we started doing national searches for some of the best horn players for horn quartet. And so now we really are a national ensemble, which is super cool. And we get together 3 or 4 weeks out of the year in the Bay Area and also in other places in the country. And when we're not getting together as a quartet, we also are doing solo work in our communities supported by Quadre around some of the social issues that we support. So, for instance, just this last week, I went and was playing at a homeless shelter under the Quadre umbrella for 75 amazing individuals, and it was a really, really cool event. So I'll start off with some of your questions. I'm originally from England. I live here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was one of the founding members of Quadre back in 1998. And what got me to the horn is my grandfather suggested it, thought it would be a great instrument for me to begin on, and that was way back in 4th grade.
And I currently live in Los Angeles, and I am a member of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, and I joined Quadre in 2008. I believe upon the suggestion of Lydia, we've played together in a number of orchestras prior to that. What brought me to my instrument was, it's not really all that interesting. I really admired my neighbor who was a little older than me when I was a young girl, and anything she did I also wanted to do. So if she twirled the baton, that's what I wanted to do. Gymnastics, did gymnastics, and then she decided to play the French horn. So thanks to Judy Fisher, I play the French horn.
So I live in Eugene, Oregon. I'm the professor of horn at the University of Oregon, and I joined this group in 2007. And I started playing the horn because I am the youngest of 4 kids, and we all played musical instruments. And my oldest brother played trumpet, which I thought was really cool, but I didn't want him telling me what to do, so I played horn instead.
And I teach horn at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, and that's why I'm jet lagged, because we're on Eastern time, and I've just been here for 2 days, or it feels like more.
Feels like a week.
Really 2 days. Lots of rehearsing in that time. So I've got a really fun job there with lots of great students, and it's a great time being around the horn, and lots of different contexts, and this is definitely a fun one. Lots of challenges here, as you heard, and really great people. I started the horn, I think, just because I loved the sound, and it looked cool. I didn't realize that no other instruments in the orchestra blew backwards, so at the time when I was 10 years old. So I didn't know how weird of an instrument it was, but I thought it looked cool, and I thought it was a great sound, so not atypical for a 10-year-old kid to want that. Sadie, do you want to jump in here too?
Sure. So I live in the Bay Area as well. I'm in Livermore, and I teach at the University of the Pacific in Stockton. And I guess what also drew me to the horn, just like Adam said, is the sound. My parents were music teachers, so they played concertos of every single member of the orchestra for me to listen to, and I liked the horn and the English horn the best. But when I found out you couldn't exclusively play the English horn, then horn was the go-to instrument. So
Nice.
Very cool.
Thank you
I
all.
want to thank you very much for having us. It's been super awesome. Are there more questions?
We got one
I
more.
just want to say, yay, Eugene. I'm in Eugene, Oregon right now, so.
Yay.
And you'll be stunned to know that it's raining. So,
Oh, what a surprise.
yeah, there's another question in the chat from Nate. Is it true that Adam won the 17 Magazine General Motors National Concerto Competition in 1985?
I went, but another guy named Adam won. And I've never
Oh,
met him since. I don't even remember his last name, but I did not win. It was fun. It was my first time on a plane away from home.
Which Nate is this, by the way? Do we know a last name?
Nate, you want to unmute yourself and say hello?
The name.
I'm afraid I'll butcher your last name if I try to pronounce it. Is it Pavlik?
Yeah. Hi, Nate.
Hi,
Really
Nate.
good to hear you guys, and I'm very impressed.
Nice to see
Wish
you.
I were there with you for the after party.
And Nathan, for those who don't know, is a former member of Quadre.
Oh,
Recently retired from the horn, but was playing with us for 18 years, which was absolutely incredible. And many of the arrangements that we have and original works we have are by him. So thank you so much for tuning in, Nate.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I look a lot like Adam, so
That's really why they hired me.
That is true. We didn't want to get new photographs taken, so you the most closely presentable.
oh, by the way, I really love your haircut, Amy Jo.
Why, thank you, Nate.
Good night. Have a fun night.
And we'll be playing one of Nathan's arrangements tomorrow at the Horns for the Holidays concert in Mountain View Center for the Performing Arts. So you can come and catch that. You're going to hear all the repertoire you heard today and double that, more than double that actually. And we're going to be joined by the Mallet Men, who are this incredible percussion duo locally, and you're going to hear some tunes from them. Sadie's going to join us for another number as well. One of my original tunes for the holidays called Hug Santa for Me, so you want to catch that.
I was going to say break a leg for tomorrow night, but I don't know if that's what you say to horn players.
I think Bust a Lip.
Bust a lip. All right. Well, bust a lip, everyone. Have a wonderful show tomorrow night. And thank you all for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Take
night.
care. Bye.
Bye.